Are you someone who watches Netflix, or rather binges Netflix? I'd love to know actually, what show are you binge watching right now? Let me know down in the comments. But if there's something that YouTube creators can learn from Netflix, it is their ability to keep you watching their shows. You know, when you end a show, you have that screen that comes up that is prompting you to go to the next show. And whether you click next or not, best believe it's going on to the next episode and it's just gonna autoplay. This is something that you can actually implement in your videos. And what it creates is something called circular video virality. Whoa, I know that is a mouthful, but you can actually create videos that people want to binge because of the way you're setting them up. And in this training that I do, I share how you can actually start doing this in your videos and some mistakes you can avoid so that people don't leave your video. They stay on until the end, and even more so, jump on another video that you offer them. So let's jump right into that training from Grow with Video Live.
You gotta just press record.
In this quick power session, I wanna talk about how to make your viewers binge your content. How to make your viewers binge your content. You think, something we've talked about often during this conference is that you're creating a library of videos. You're creating an archive of videos for people to watch, and maybe you don't get discovered by a person until a year from now, but you've uploaded a video a week, you got 52 videos on your channel. How do you get them to stay on your channel? How do you get them to continue to watch your videos? And I know you fell into this trap, and it's a good trap if it's intentional, and so you can get people to binge. So I got 3 tips on this, and the first tip is to ask the question to yourself, where should they go next after this video? Where should they go next after this video? I created a video entitled Best Microphone for YouTube under $100. And then in this video, I intentionally selected 3 different kinds of mics. These are whether it was a lavalier mic, a condenser mic, or a dynamic mic, as you can see in the image. And so in this video, I break down 3 different kinds of mics. But also, toward the end of the video, I knew going into making this video that I've already made videos on each specific product that I broke down in that video. So how about if you wanted to go deeper, you could actually go watch the dedicated review video of that mic that I just talked about. Here's an example of how I actually ended the video that I uploaded.
And I hope you got value in this video, and if you did, smash that like button. If you want to see a video we did reviewing one of these mics, you can click or tap the screen, or check out another video from Think Media by clicking or tapping the screen. And I can't wait to see you in a future one. Peace.
And as you can see on the screen, you're met with the opportunity to actually click on the dedicated review video of that specific product. One way to actually keep your viewers' attention, because if you've gotten up them that far, I have a choice. The video can just end, and that's the end of it, or I can lead them up to something that makes some sense. You can actually go into creating a series of videos, and then one video, put all those together, and then in that all that together video, push out to those single videos, and that's what we would call circular video virality. Say that 3 times fast, or put it in the chat. Circular video virality. Tip number two is to make your last tip point to a video. Make your last tip point to a video. Heather, in this video, 5 easy YouTube live streaming tips for beginners, she intros and says, live streaming could be a daunting task, but what if you can make it easy for yourself? And in this video, I'm gonna be sharing 5 tips on how to do that. And be sure to stick around to the end, because I have a bonus tip, and that is what Sean talked about, giving you a reason to stay till the end. But one reason to give somebody to not click off is to actually send them to that next video, but make it a tip for them to stay on. And so I believe I have an example here.
And my bonus tip for you today is to have a plan. Man, there is nothing worse than watching someone on a live stream just ramble on and on and on. So when you go into the live stream, make sure you know what your topic is. Make sure you have your points listed out, and make sure you know where you want to send that audience next. So they need to go to your website or watch another video. Just make sure you have a plan before you get into your live stream. And if you want to see how we do our live streaming outlines here at Think Media, just click the video that's on the screen right now. It'll walk you step by step through how we create our outlines, and it'll help you get more views, more reach, and have peace of mind on your next live stream. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.
So a lot of the times people, our videos kind of end abruptly. And that is kind of the intention, and that is kind of the goal. And so what you see on the screen, obviously, when Heather points to you, is what is called the end cards, and that could be added at the end of inside of your YouTube Studio app when you're dialing in your video and optimizing it. You can add these end cards that just allow you for 20 seconds to preview it on the screen. And I'm going to give you a couple tips after these 3 tips on how to help you get people to stay based off of what you say. But the next tip I have for you is to use short videos to point to longer videos. Using short videos to point to longer videos. And in this video, the YouTube algorithm hacks, 7 tips for growing your YouTube channel that actually work. Sean actually breaks down 7 different tips on how you can, hack the algorithm. And here's the crazy thing. This interview was about like an hour-long interview. And from that interview, Sean was able to pull out 7 tips from those interviews and create another video out of it. Now, there is this, we talked about it in this earlier kind of like panel session that the team did, me, Tony, Heather, and Sean, that the chances of somebody watching you for a very long time is pretty slim. That doesn't negate the fact that you should potentially step into long-form video if you have the time to do it and if you have the strategy to do it, because this video literally has almost 500,000 views. And it's a repurposed video from a 50-minute podcast talk, and we talk about how like even the quality of that video isn't even, amazingly strong, but the quality of content was strong. And so making that a shorter video was really a smart strategy to do. And then what Sean then did in the end of the video was point to the longer video. And so, one way to actually do this if, you wanted to do minimal editing and minimal shooting is actually shooting at a separate time an intro and an outro. That's what Sean did in this video. You could see that, this screenshot versus this screenshot. This was part of the podcast conversation, and then Sean took a second to make an intro and outro, shoot it differently, and use that moment to actually lead you into the longer conversation if you so desired. And so that's something we would even call like highlight videos, or we would call that short clips, not necessarily YouTube Shorts, but shorter clips from the long content. So those are 3 ways that you can actually keep a viewer engaged. And another thing that you can actually begin to work on is to use your language intentional. So when you're scripting your video or when you're outlining your video, there's some phrases that I would avoid when it comes to ending your video. I think sometimes we can have a tendency to tell somebody that we're ending. I mean, that's just the reality. In conclusion, as I land the plane or whatever, right? And so here's some phrases that you want to avoid. You want to avoid phrases like in conclusion, my final thoughts, and the last tip. There's always going to be a last tip. There's always going to be a lastly, but you don't have to use those phrases. You can actually avoid them by using phrases like, or asking a question. So instead of saying in conclusion, you could do something that I do, that when I get to the end of a video, I say, I say, so what do I think about this camera when it comes to beginners? When I could have said, in conclusion, this is a great beginner camera. 2 different, saying the same thing essentially, but I'm not alluding to the idea that I'm ending. So simply ask a question when you're ending. Number 2, you can, instead of saying, as far as my final thoughts go, just say, I think. Don't stay away from the words like, as I'm wrapping up, or I'm ending, or my final thoughts, or what have you. Just say, I think this camera is incredible for beginners, and simply because it's easy to use. Or it could have been like, as far as my final thoughts go, this is really an easy camera to use for beginners. Then what happens to the viewer is they start to check out. You're literally grooming your viewer to check out. Like I mentioned earlier with the Netflix example, regardless whether you like it or not, they're gonna shoot you to the next episode of whatever show you're watching. And if you finished episode 10 and there's no more episodes left, they're gonna push you to another show that is very similar to that. And so Netflix is like already doing that. They're grooming you because they know the viewer. And so that's another phrase that you can use. The third phrase you can use instead is just say my next tip. So maybe you have a 5-tip video, but instead of saying and the final tip, just say, and my next tip. I think if I can come to a reality or a conclusion is that no one's really counting the actual tips you're saying. No one's like, this is tip number 5, here he goes, he's ending. If you're giving good, valuable tips and good, valuable content, they're gonna be engaged, and they're actually gonna lose count. And so for you to tell them that this is the last tip, you're actually gonna groom them to check out of your video, and we wanna keep them on. So use my next tip instead of the last tip. And then I just wanna end with this thought, is that the creator who understands the viewer most wins.
That's just the reality, it's the truth. When you begin to understand the kind of thumbnails that your viewers click on, and you begin to understand the journey that your viewers are on based off of what you're telling them to do or teach to them, and know where they should go next in their journey, you will win. And that's just because you are understanding your audience, and therefore you're gonna better serve your audience. And if you like this training, you're gonna love our conference this year at Grow with Video Live, and you could tap into our conference virtually and get the recordings, or even tap in live if you make it to the show. But we'll post all that information down in the comments below if you'd like to check that out. And we've got some incredible speakers at our conference this year. People like Gary Vee, Ryan Pineda, Jasmine Star, of course the Think Media team, and so much more. So we hope that you would tap in to Grow with Video Live this year, the virtual experience. It's gonna be incredible. All those details down in the comments below. And if you wanna check out another training from us here at Think Media that'll help you level up your YouTube videos, you can click or tap the screen. And I can't wait to see you in a future video. Peace.